This segment of Thoroughbreds Argo is brought to you by Inglis, celebrating graduates both on and off the track. One of the most intriguing thoroughbred stories coming out of the incredible Tour de Horse, where thoroughbreds ride over trails covering around 200 kilometres in the Hunter Valley, was the performance of former Randwick Guineas winner Communist. He's now in the care of Michael Freedman Racing's racing manager, Sophie Johnson, and it's great to catch up and hear her expertise on retraining thoroughbreds. Sophie, it's really great to see where you are here with a Communist, of course, a Randwick Guineas winner, a beautiful former racehorse. But you yourself, tell us a bit about you and your work now with obviously Michael Freedman Racing, and you're obviously very good as an off-track equestrian as well. What's sort of your day-to-day routine and what's some of your background?
Background-wise, I'm originally from England. I've been over here now for 8 years and I've been working for Michael for 6 years. I'm his racing manager and right-hand woman, so to speak. I'll go around to all of the races, do the interviews, saddling up at the races, track work on Tuesdays for the gallops, video updates, nominating the horses for the races and booking the jockeys, a little bit of everything really. It's kind of just progressed over the past few years more and more. Michael's a great person to work for. I've learnt an awful lot from him and he's given me a lot of opportunities along the way as well.
So then what led you to want to have a horse such as Communist off the track? You're jumping him and you're doing general sort of equestrian riding, etc. But what makes you want to have a horse off the track?
I've always been obsessed with animals from a very young age. I have still got my own horse back home in England. He's in his 20s now, late 20s, he's retired. I got him when I was 12. So I've always had a bit of a hand in it, and I went to college and did a horse diploma, a horse equine college as well, but never had anything to do with racing until I came over here. It was just a case of I needed a job and I could do things with horses. So I picked it up over here. But as for why I've got Communist, Michael purchased him from the English sales in 2021, and he's always been that slightly quirky character, typical of the breed, Russian Revolution. I think the soft spot for me with him was when we had the Hawkesbury stables. He got moved out to the Hawkesbury stables. Randwick was just a little bit too much for him. It was quite busy. We tried to move him out to Hawkesbury for the quieter life. He had a bit of track work in the morning and then he'd go out into the paddock throughout the day. And it was from the Hawkesbury stables that he won the Randwick Guineas, which was quite special to me personally. Like, we put a lot of work into him. It was our first Group 1 for Michael Freedman as well. He's a little bit misunderstood. I think Michael will certainly say the same, and as will most jockeys that have ridden him on the track as well. He's got his quirks, and it's his way or no way. But we were very lucky to be able to get that win with him as well, and he was at his peak then. I wanted to make sure that when he did finish racing, he was going to somewhere that could understand him. I didn't want him just to go to anybody, and I did say that quite openly. I was thrown a lot of questions of why are you taking this horse and why do you want to do this with him? What are you going to do with him? And I just said anything that makes him happy, and that was it. I didn't even know if I'd be able to ride him or do anything with him. I just wanted to just see how he went, and if I ended up keeping him or if I brought him on and then he eventually went to somebody else, that would have been fine. But we gelled pretty well, and he really took it in his stride straight away, so I was very happy with him.
He only had 24 starts, but 4 wins, 4 placings, but a couple of those were sort of, provincial. I mean, he beat Lindemann, who's been a star again this carnival, and raced in so many Group 1s, not far off in Oban Burumai's Golden Eagle, behind Mr Brightside, Fangirl, Chea Wolf, who are all the stars of 2025 racing. But to see him now, it was so soon off the track that you took him to the Tour de Horse. Tell us a bit about that.
It was, yeah. I kind of threw him right in at the deep end, so to speak. He'd actually been off the track 7 weeks, and I took him, and we took part. Michael took part in Tour de Horse last year, and we were very happy to take part again this year. And they did quite kindly offer if I would like to bring my own horse. Normally, all of the other horses that take part are off the track thoroughbreds that are part of the rehoming programme, and they're looking for homes, but they'd found out that I'd got Communist and said, oh, bring him along, and let's see what he can do. A couple of days before, he took part in the Scone Horse Parade, which was mind-blowing for me, but he took it all in his stride. Everything was going on there. We had balloons, floats, there was kids, cows and all sorts going down the street, and he just strolled out like he'd done it every day of his life. We kicked on for Tour de Horse and did 200 kilometres over the week to raise money for the Kids Foundation, and he was fantastic. Nobody could quite believe that he'd just come off the track, myself included. All of his bad habits and quirks seemed to just disappear, and he was in his happy place, and he shone, basically. I was very, very happy with him.
He had a brain, and a lot of horses, a lot of thoroughbreds do, and they decide they don't want to race, and you can't really make them. You know, it's about looking after that horse's mental state as much as anything, to make sure, as you said, that they are happy post-racing. It's a strong message to get across to owners, isn't it?
Absolutely. One of his earlier owner reports, I remember back when he was a colt, he was a yearling, and it was reported that this horse is a thinker, and I think that is something that everybody seemed to say. Jockeys would get straight off after the races, this horse thinks too much, he does this too much, and he does, and it's the exact same now as well. He thinks about everything, he questions everything, and you have to kind of make it his idea, but he is so willing and so trusting. I think he just got to the point where he was just like, this isn't for me, and he just didn't want to play. And you can't force them to do that, and he was just telling us that he was done, so that was it.
You really do need to find the right home for the horse, and it can take a bit of time.
It can, yeah, there's absolutely no rush with it. There's so many different avenues that we have in the racing industry. My racehorse, for example, they have their own racing rehabilitation program that they have for all of their horses. We've got the Thoroughbred rehoming program through Racing New South Wales. Racing Victoria have the same. So there are options for them. They're not just going to be cast aside or anything like that. Some of them are quiet enough and ready enough to just go straight into an equestrian home and go out and compete, or just be a companion even. Some of them do need that little bit more time, be it that they've had an injury, or that even if they have, like Communist, retired sound and he just needed that little bit of time to settle down mentally, just give him some little bit of headspace and realise what it is to be a horse again. You will know, you'll know, like that. If you listen to your horse, they'll tell you when it's time.
And you're obviously passionate about the thoroughbred breed. You know, it's your work, it's your life. But in terms of people taking them on, the equestrian world, there can be this view, oh, don't want thoroughbreds. You look after them daily within a racing stable. You look after this guide. Obviously, you have many horses over the years. What's the most important thing that they get right when they take on a thoroughbred?
It's the biggest sense of achievement, and it's just a really, really good feeling to know that you've had one off the track and to see them progress. Like you've already touched on earlier, like you see so many adverts, people looking for horses, and the first thing that it says, no ex-race horses, no thoroughbreds. Like, they don't know what they're missing. They really don't, and I'm not the only one that will say it. And they are exposed, they're bred to race, and they're bred to be in this full-on industry from the second that their feet touch the floor. Like, they're handled straight away at the studs, they're taken to the yearling sales, they're put around in this tiny ring with hundreds of people there bidding on them. Then they're off to the races at 2 in front of a crowd, and they're exposed to so much, and you won't get half of that off of your normal kids pony, which 99% of the kids ponies are really naughty.
Yes, that's right, exactly, and then don't start on the warm bloods.
Exactly, that's it. I think honestly you're actually really lucky if you do get one off the track, because they can also teach you so much as well about being a horse. Yeah, some of them have their quirks and things like that, but they're not that difficult really. It's the drive to want to do things and to want to please and be active, whether it be that they're just showing or dressage, eventing, like they've got it all in them as well. They're exceptional creatures, and we're very lucky to have them in our lives.
And you have them with Rachel King's gorgeous Paths of Glory, or POG, and Military Mission. We'll do something with Rach separately, but it is really important too for people taking them on that you find the right place, a safe place to have them with people who really know what they're doing, so that they can stay safe and have companionship with other sensible sorts of horses.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, I'm very lucky to be really good friends with Rach, and she lets me keep Communist out here with her horses, and I'm great friends with Kathy O'Hara and Ali Mosley, so we've got a really good group of people that all have, we're all in the racing industry, but we've all got off the track horses as well. And it is good to obviously keep track of other people. If you do get one off the track, like, don't ever think that you're out there on your own. Like, people are always more than welcome to touch base with any of us in the industry, like even especially right down to the strappers and stable hands, because they are the ones that are hands-on with these horses from the get-go, and they will happily tell you what the horse's quirks are, what to do, help you out with things. And so many of them want to see them thrive off the track after racing. So don't ever think that there isn't anybody, should I say, that is going to be able to help you.
And as you said, the joy that they give you, and you see that from people that have worked with these racehorses in the stables, and it's what I guess owners need to realise is that, you know, the people caring for them in the stables really love them for life.
Yeah, absolutely. There is life after racing, and that's what we're here for. We're here to promote it. And yes, I work in the racing industry and I'm working with the horses that are up and running now, but like, I'm very much for everything after racing as well. They're born and bred to do this job, which they all go out and do, and they don't really owe us anything. Like, afterwards, they've done what we've asked them to do from the get-go, and then we just have to make sure that we give them the best life possible after racing.